Here are a couple of pictures of the coop we will be building.
Okay, a couple of things before we get started. Make sure you wear your safety glasses. It's super important. Get your power tools. If you haven't used a circular saw before, I'd recommend looking it up. Learned this, gotta give props to my first construction job. Fred taught me how to do this so you don't lose a connection. And this is a little tip I've learned doing this on my own. I do not have a table saw, but I have a circular saw. So what I've done is I've drawn my line, because this first board I'm gonna kit is gonna be 42 inches by 48 inches, which is the length of this board. And I've got my line drawn, as you can see here, and I've got my ruler here tacked on. You might be like, why is this guy doing this? And here's the reason. I don't have a table saw, but if I could run this along here, I'll get a nice straight cut. It's right on the line. So all you have to do is just measure the width. Luckily for me, this is 1.5 inches, so it makes it super easy, and I'll just get a nice straight cut. Got the base built for the coop. It's gonna be replacing that old thing. That's like version 2 of what I've built. So hopefully this one turns out a lot better. So it is 5 feet across. It is 48 inches wide. I have braces at every 15 inches here for the base, and I've got the setup of 2 2x4s at the end, which you can see here as well. And I'm working on cutting the base. This is going to be the base of my chicken coop. It's a piece of OSB board that I'm going to be using for the bottom. Should hold up with just the amount of moisture that the chickens are going to have. There's going to be a bunch of bedding on top of this, so it shouldn't be bad. Cutting out the corners here, 3.5 by 3.5 to fit around the post. You can see here I'm just using my jigsaw to get these off. All right, I got my back wall up, so just let folks know it's about 41 inches across and about 43.5 inches tall. I have my front, which is going to be 48 inches from the front there to here, 48 inches. I'm going to have a 4-foot piece right there. I'm actually going to be putting in 2 windows here, so I got them spaced 10 inches from the top, 12-inch space, 18 inches here to here. I'm waiting for the windows to come in to actually finish the framing. This piece here is 48 inches across by 48 inches tall, and it's going to slope about 4 inches when I'm done. I'm working on the last framing with the windows. So we've got the 48 by 48 size panel here for framing. Put in our windows. This is a 12 by 18 window. I'll put a link on the site so you can see where that is. I've got them spaced about 6.5 inches from the side. I'm working on putting the framing in on the inside. I'll get that in and I'll show you what that looks like. So here we have a look at the frames, mostly done. We got both windows set in there. As I mentioned before, we got a little bit of room for expansion. I'm just going to finish up putting a little bit of framing in here just so the T111 has something attached to. So we got the framing up. Here's our chicks. There's 4 of the 5 that we've got, and a little coop that we initially had purchased that didn't really work out. There's the original that I'm replacing with the new one. So I got the framing up. This is the front facing the house. We're gonna have doors that open here, come around to the back side. This is gonna be just all siding. Back side there, all siding, and then here is the front where the windows are gonna go. So just working on cutting these posts down now. I waited, probably shouldn't have, but I waited. So I got my angles marked here where I'm gonna have the door. So I'm gonna have to cut that side down, and then same thing with the top. I left it up there, and I'm just gonna trim it down. So I'll let you know when that gets done. Well, I came up with this. I do not recommend anybody doing this, but it did help me get that angle in there that I needed. I could brace my scale saw on that angle. Good afternoon, ladies. As you can see, we've had some rain here, so it's rained a couple of days. It's finally nice out. Just to do a little recap, I got 3 of the walls on. I'm working on cutting this panel right here. It's gonna be about 48 by 54. And then after I get that done, I'm gonna come in here, and this is where the windows are gonna be. Right here, this is the windows. This is one of the windows. That's the second window. I'm just gonna trace it in here and cut it out, and the windows will fit there. 12 by 18 windows, and this is gonna be where the nesting boxes are. So I'll let you know when I get this next wall up. All right, here's what we know. Hey ladies, I made a mistake. The coop is 48 inches by 48 inches. Unfortunately, the panels are 48 inches. So when I put everything together, we're short about 1/2 inch. So what I'm gonna do is take off this one and the one in the back and shorten it by about 1/2 inch. Move the front of it where the nesting box are gonna go, move it back about 1/2 inch, and put it back together. So back at it again today. I'm gonna be working on putting the windows in. These are 12 by 18. I got myself some window sealant, and I'm gonna be putting it in. Just for folks that don't know, this spot right here on your caulk machine is for cutting the spout of your caulk. So what I'm gonna end up doing is I'm gonna caulk around here and the edges. I'm gonna set it in the window and put it in. Here we go, guys. So what we've got is I've got the window caulked, I've got it placed in there, and the thing you need to remember is you need space in here for your windows to move around. Get it centered, and then just go ahead and screw it in. Hey everybody, I am inside the coop. As you can see, I got my windows in, and the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna use a little foam to fill in the cracks. I got a couple in here, so I'm just gonna fill them in just for a better seal. All right, here's how I ended up doing the framing inside of the coop. This little piece around here, about 9 inches. This one's about 14, I believe. There's a little bit of a gap here, but that's okay because I got it secured. The top should sit nicely on top of there. Another thing to think about if you're using T21, I haven't used it. T111, I haven't used it before. It's got these nice little slots here, which helps the boards fit right in there. So it looks really nice when it gets set up in here. So I'll show you a little picture of that, what it looks like when it's screwed in. Morning, Josie. Good morning, ladies. So it's been a couple of days. I needed some time to think about some things, and it's been raining. So here's what I know. So when I initially put this coop together, I liked the window placement, and I was going to have the window box's lid come up here, but because this is lower than I expected it, that's not going to work. So what I'm going to do is just close this lid off here, and I'm going to take this bottom piece off. This is going to hinge down, and that's where the nesting box is going to be. The other thing I noticed is if I'm going to put a door here, I don't have anything for the top of the door to hinge closed against to. So I've got a nice piece here on the bottom, but if the top, I didn't have a 2x4 there. So I'm just gonna put one right behind here. It's gonna look great, it's gonna work well, so let's get to it. So we've had a little mishap. The old measure once, measure twice, cut once didn't work. So I ran into an issue where I cut my lid incorrectly and I ran out of wood, so I had to improvise, which actually turned out better. So I now have some right spacing underneath the window, which I really like. I'm just caulking here, that'll be fine. I had some extra hinges, so I made this lid, and it's a little long now, but I'm cutting it back. But now this hinges up and this hinges down, so I've got some great access. But what I'm going to change here is, now that I've got this new setup here, I'm going to actually attach this piece right here. You can see where it's marked to the 4x4, and I'm going to do that on both sides, so that way the lid just moves here and here. And the reason I'm doing that is, as you can see in here, you can just scrape everything out, so I don't need, I can just cover this up. Great, I think it's going to look awesome. So again, a bad situation turned into something awesome. So we do run into issues. just compromise, step away, think about it. I came up with a great solution out of a mistake. So y'all have a wonderful day. After some slight modifications, this is how the nesting boxes look. Top lid here. This folds down. Looks up pretty good. I think I might put some handles on it so it'll be a little easier to open and close, but I like how it sits right underneath the windows. It doesn't hit up against them. And I also like how this just folds all the way down, makes it super easy to clean because it goes all the way down. Just pull everything like right out of there. So I've got the doors on. This piece here on the left just is a temporary piece. I haven't quite figured out how I want to have the trim look yet. So what I did was, on this one here, I've got it covering the top part. As you can see here, it's just a little bit over, and then I've got overhang on this way, this side, so when it closes, it hides the seam. Looks pretty good. The other thing that I did was I put this piece here on the bottom to help it carry some of the weight, because these are some, I'm not quite sure if I'm going to use these hinges still, but it looks nice for now. But as you can see, got an interesting close here. So this is just pine trim hinges from Home Depot, Lowe's, wherever you want to get them from, and you just squirt it up and set it in there. If you got any questions, just ask me in the comments and I'll see if I can answer your questions. The other thing to note, it's a little bit windy here today, so when I had this open, it's blowing this out. So I think I'm going to put, I don't know what quite yet, something in here, probably underneath here, and attach it to the door so this can't blow all the way open and ruin that. I just want it wide enough so we can get in here and get all the stuff out from cleaning the coop. And as you can see, with the doors open, there is no ledge here, anything really for the stuff to get caught on. There's a little bit of piece back here, but that's not bad. Otherwise, it's just open. You can just pull everything like right out of here. All right, so here's what we got. I've got the boards cut for the top of the coop here, and I've got my bracers here for the top of the coop, so when I do pull my board across, it'll support the weight. I'm actually going to end up putting shingles on top of here. So again, the coop was 48 by 48. Should have made it a little smaller, but it is what it is. So that I just angled down the boards right there, and this is going to sit right on top.